Hey guys, it's me Chan Dragon. Today I kinda want to give you advanced artifact builds or maybe discussion or kinda guide about like whether which one we should use regarding our artifact. Is it we should focus more to the attack percentage, elemental mastery, or even energy charge? Because I know some of people say, oh, elemental mastery better because just we can get the bonus from the passive of Yae Miko, and some will even say like, oh no, attack still better, and some of them say, oh no, energy recharge and whatever, something like that. So it's kinda in here I want to kinda use testing and a comparison, so later we can take a look together. So let's find out. So for the rules, it's pretty simple. I will not using any buff like foot or bayonet or something from the abyss because that will be biased. And second, I will do the test around 3 to 4 times until I find the number that kind of show the same or stable. And then I will use reaction with Kokomi for the Hydro one, and then after that I will combine everything using Swirl from the Kazuha. And takes notes, the Swirl number can be very different from each of us because our elemental mastery can be very different. So this is not how to show as much as damage as you can. This is just want to comparing though. Before I start up, if you want really to help me, you can feel free to hit subscribe button and like, or maybe kind of follow me on Twitch. So anything is very appreciated. So let's get started. In here, for my testing, I will use weapon for Lost Prayer. So why I didn't use Witsit? Because Witsit so much bias. It will be kind of different, like so much RNG. So I'm using a more stable weapon. And then for my artifacts build is Two Tanding Fury and Gladiator Finale. And then in here our testing, I will changing like attack percentage, later I will change to elemental mastery, and later I will change to energy charge though. So here's my build when using attack percentage sense around 2200. I didn't active my constellation yet. And then my skill is level 6 in elemental skill, and the burst is level 8. So for my elemental mastery build is it's actually the best one compared to my attack percentage though. Attack is slightly lower, around 1009. Now the energy charge one, my crit rate is also quite around the same, but all of them is quite similar honestly. So the first testing that I did is I using the attack sense, and then this is the raw damage of elemental skill. You can see around 6800 something like that, and sometimes the low one around 2000. Now this is the elemental mastery sense. Now we can see it's kind of stable at 6700. Now I'm using the energy charge one, so it's kind of stable around 5900, almost 6000. So in terms of raw damage, honestly, attack percentage elemental mastery not make a big really that difference. Only energy recharge that it's quite different, like 1000. So yeah, in overall attack percentage still did better, but elemental mastery also not bad. Now with the reaction using Kokomi, the Yae Miko elemental skill using attack percentage kinda stable around 7300 something. So the elemental mastery sense and then using the reaction, it's stable around 7400 something like that. Now for the using energy recharge doing the reaction, it's kinda the lowest one, 6500 something for the stable. Here's the reaction screenshot side by side, and then I think there's no surprise that elemental mastery deal the most, but quite surprised in attack percentage that it's actually quite competitive. It's quite close because my attack percentage is quite low. It's very low in terms of elemental mastery, and then for energy charge one, yeah, of course the last one. So for the reaction and the swirl for the attack sense, the damage stable around 9900 something, almost 10,000. So for the elemental mastery sense reaction with the swirl, it hits stable around 9900 something, almost 10,000. For energy recharge sense, so for the reaction plus the swirl, the number kinda stable around 8800 something, almost 9000. So here's the comparison between the full reaction and the swirl one. So this is where I think interesting that attack attack percentage deal the highest though. I quite shocked that I thought Elemental Mastery that will deal more, but turn out it's not because my attack percentage build is very low in terms of Elemental Mastery, but turnouts they're very close. And as we can see, energy recharge always kind of become the one that's very behind. For the elemental burst raw damage, using attack sense, it's go from 20k to 26k gradually. So using elementary sense, the burst raw damage go from 18k gradually to become almost 24k. So for the energy recharge sense that I use, the burst raw damage going from 17k to 23k, something like that. So for the elemental burst damage, the one that win also in here attack percentage, and the second is elemental mastery, and of course the last one again, energy recharge. So the burst with the reaction is pretty obvious that attack win again, elemental mastery second, energy charge the third one. So yeah, here the side by screenshot. So I think until now we really have rough idea, like usually attack percentage and elemental mastery quite competitive. And then here the last one that I will do with the combination with Swirl though. So in here I'll do the burst. I put everything from reaction and the swirl from Kazuha, and I find that attack still kinda dominating. The highest one starting from initial damage or starting damage up to the end of the thunderbolt. But in here another interesting part where elemental mastery starting damage, it's kinda lower than energy charge, but of course like time to time elemental mastery deal more than energy charge though. But in the end I think they are kinda same or kinda very close between each other, between elemental mastery and energy recharge in terms of burst. And it kind of support my theory where like elemental mastery it's still comparable if you just use the elemental skill. They are pretty still competitive with the attack percentage, but if you come to burst they kind of slightly lose the power though. So here another bonus clip where I using Emblem of Severed. So take note the Emblem of Severed overall stats is a little bit weaker compared to my Thundering Fury and Gladiator. So in here I kind of want to know like the potential of using energy recharge then, and I find that actually it's not really bad if you really want to use energy charge or you have a very good energy charge sense. Just using Emblem Separate Fate, it deals the second best. So the first one is attack sense, then Emblem Separate Fate deal the second best in terms of the burst damage. But for elemental skill, yeah, you can expect it's slightly kind of lower than others because yeah, they only mainly buff in the burst itself though. So here's my findings after I doing the comparison. So first is attack percentage is best in general. We already test from the raw to reaction until swirl. It's best in almost in every section except the reaction one. And in here I can confidently say though, if you have low EM in your main set or your total stats whatever, it's okay as long as you have an like high attack percentage though. It can cover though, it can become a balance, so it doesn't really matter that you really have to concern about the elemental mastery because the passive though, so it doesn't really matter. So second is for the EM one, it's actually still viable, still kind of okay in terms of reaction. I think you can see there's one of a case where EM win, but like it's not really that impressive. It's only like higher 100 or not even 100, so it's not really that impressive. And we can see there's a side effect like double-edged sword, the second point, which is means like the skill damage, it's quite similar with attack percentage, but it give a worse buff though, so the burst become like much kind of lower. The skill is kind of competitive same, but the burst is kind of low. The third one is actually, some people say, oh, you have to go for EM though, but actually in reality, in practically, the EM doesn't really give a huge buff. Yeah, it buff a little bit in elemental skill, but after than that, it's not really that super like, oh, it gives like 2 times higher than attack percentage. No, it's not. It's just like maybe another cherry on top on your substat. And then the last one, that's why I say EM, if it come in the substat, it will be welcome for me, so that will be good though. So let's say you have like kind of bad artifact and you still have kind of EM inside, then that you may consider a very welcome substat then. And then now we move in term for ER though. We can see, or energy recharge, I mean, we can see that yeah, ER really help you to get more uptime for your burst, but it loses a lot of damage though. Almost in every comparison Yae lose when you equip the energy recharge. It's become more comfy, but damage is not though. So that's why I say in the second point is energy recharge is priority in the subset though, because we in here our plan, because we are focusing more offense to do our like main set and something like that. Our subset should be ER for the priority besides the crit rate and crit damage though. But there's other situation where if you really want to use ER, then use Emblem Severed. I think that's the best one. Still this like kinda deal quite decent amount of damage, probably the second best after the attack percentage. So yeah, you can still utilize that with using Emblem's Effort Fate set 4 piece. Those findings that I found, I can clearly say that using attack sense is the best among all, because like if you have a good substat on the attack sets, there's no other reason for you to not use that though. That the best in term of a general to make like in most in situations, so you don't feel like have to change every single time. So attack sense is the best one, and here I come to the conclusion where the I think the best build or the best artifact for use in general is 2 Thundering Fury, 2 Gladiator or Shimenawa, with the requirement of 150 ER though. And I know this is pretty hard to get 150 ER using this set. That's why if you kind of have a willingness or you are kind of well thing, you can go for Yae Miko C1, and that will be help you do. Although you have less than 150, it will be help you. But I don't really recommend because you have to pay $200, so it's not really worth. It's only for whale. With the main stat that critical damage and crit rate still priority, and then the electro damage of course in the goblet, and don't forget the attack sense tab, or not elemental mastery. For the substat is the priority is critical damage and rate as usual like other character, and energy recharge, because in here we don't want to suffer in energy recharge problem, so we have to invest more focus in energy recharge also. So secondary we can put attack percentage and elemental mastery kinda as a second one. But don't worry if you cannot really copy the one that I recommend or kinda get the one I recommend. Probably you already have your own artifact right now, or even you already prefarm something like that. So yeah, I think don't waste it. And maybe you have also good subset in that. Don't waste it. I think you're still able to utilize. I have couple alternative sets that you can try, although it's not as the best I recommend, but still able to use. Because in the end, we play Genshin Impact for fun and not really competitive. And I can guarantee you still able to survive in Spiral Beast using those alternative sets though. So here we are. Yeah, but I will not explain anymore, so you just can read by yourself. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate. And if you consider, you can hit subscribe button and like. And feel free to see the sets that I provided though. And I will see you later.